Hello, Pirate family, and welcome to a video weekly update for March 11th of 2022. And it's hard to believe that we're getting right dead smack in the middle of March, looking at St. Pat's Day next week and the St. Pat's Day parade here in our Peking community, which is occur actually on Saturday, the 19th of March. But things are going extremely well. It's been a while since I've done a video update, and the reason being is I not only want to share some important information, great things happening here in the district, but I'm going to spend a little time just giving an enrollment update. At yesterday's board meeting, I did a pretty extensive update to our board regarding our enrollment numbers, projections, and I did this last year as well. And just being very transparent, enrollment is a number one challenge in every district because obviously our finances are directly connected to that. And here in Peking Community Schools, if you've been here with us for a while, you know that we've experienced enrollment challenges for almost a decade and continue to work through that. We need to be successful and thrive through that. But also as part of our 5-year strategic plan, which I presented a few months ago, touched based on our enrollment and our need to continue to look at the landscape here at Peking Community Schools and making sure we're being proactive and we're doing everything we can to respond both effectively and responsibly in terms of a financial perspective. So before we get into that, I just want to share a quick COVID update. There's no graphs. I have nothing to share. The numbers are extremely low. Things couldn't be going better in comparison to what we've had to deal with for the past 2 years. The numbers are single digits. We're still experiencing just a handful of cases. We've gone a couple of weeks with very minimal or no cases at all. And obviously it's still out and about, but it's extremely minimal. I think the last time I checked, it was 65 cases per 100,000. Which I think the last time it was that low was last July, at the end of July. So definitely not having an impact here at Peking Community Schools. It's really nice to be feeling almost extremely back to normal from where we've come from, and almost like a weight's been lifted off our shoulders, and just really focusing on the important work of teaching and learning and educating kids and doing all the things that we love to do and what's really important. And so it's been a challenge to try to balance everything, but I'm really looking forward to having a great last third of the school year. We have 3 more months left, and excited for that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just move forward. I've got a slide behind me just kind of promoting some great things happening. Been put in my social media, some through email, but I just want to touch base on a couple of things. The one to my right, you'll see that you can't see it in its entirety, but it's a flyer which I'll attach to an email when I send this out, for our PCS Music Boosters Big Mattress Day fundraiser. And we had our first one a couple years ago. We had it scheduled in 2020, but obviously nothing happened in 2020 in the spring there. But this is a mattress sale. And I know it's definitely not a traditional fundraiser, but districts across the state of Michigan, especially here in the lower eastern part of Michigan, are doing these extensively. I think Brighton's having one. I know Slean's had one. Dexter's had one. And they are extremely successful because obviously we all are in need of mattresses, and they have a lifespan. And if you are in a market of a mattress, I do ask that you put this and give this an opportunity to come and see us on April 30th here at the Pathfinder Complex Gym. And the gymnasium will look almost like a furniture store showroom. We'll have samples of mattresses there where you can test. They're all brand names, the same ones you would see in a mattress store in Gardner White or back in the days in Art Van, and at great prices and great deals, warranties, and delivery, payment options to make it fit your family needs and your financial needs as well. So if you are in a market and or somebody in your family or a neighbor, please come out on April 30th. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. once again in the Pathfinder Gymnasium. And hopefully we can create a win-win situation where we can get you and your family a new mattress, and the funds go to help our music program. The last time we did this, we raised just a little over $15,000, which is an extreme amount of money for a fundraiser for a one-day event. And there's districts that I know have raised $45,000 to $60,000 with this fundraiser to help support our tremendous our music program that incorporates our band, our orchestra, our choir, supporting initiatives such as Blue Lake camps and scholarships and instruments and uniforms, and just the extensiveness of that experience for our students. So please, once again, come on out and join us if you can. And I'll include the flyer so you can see that. And it's been posted on our Facebook page as well on April 30th. Right behind me, I'll move out. Just want to put a plug in for our high school theatrical group, which is Act 2. They are going to be performing Clue the Musical, which launches actually today, Friday, March 11th. So it's our first showing. And I'll be including this attachment as well. If you've ever been out to see this group, just tremendously talented students, especially when you do a musical. I'm just amazed at the amount of coordination, the leadership, the involvement of their mentor, the director, teacher, Rob Roy, and all just the student leaders that are involved. And it'll be having shows available this weekend and next weekend as well. So information will be on the flyer that I'll send out and attach to the email. And very excited to show not only a very cute picture of a dog, but this is our dog. Yesterday, our team went out to Ortonville to sign the paperwork to get the process started and to pick our dog for our first Pirate's Best Friend therapy dog. And this is the beautiful dog that's going to be joining our school community, hopefully in the next 6 months, if not even sooner. And so we have not named it because if you remember that the part of the process in the contest was the largest donor would have the opportunity to name the dog. And at this time, we believe that the country PTO is going to be our highest donor at this time. We did have a large donation from our local PPHH, our Pinckney Putnam Hamburg Howell Chamber of Commerce, which I'm part of. But the country PTO, I believe, has just come up just a little bit higher than the chamber, and they knew that. That's what they wanted to do, and so they're going to hopefully, along with Mrs. Badalucco, create a process to name the dog, and we're excited about that. We got to get that taken care of fairly soon because the trainer obviously wants to continue to start working with the dog in terms of training and acclimating it to its new name. So, but we're extremely excited, and we've raised just about $8,700. We're just enamored by the support that we receive from our community. So thank you very much. As we shared, our goal is really to have a therapy dog in every single school. And so we're going to start working on our next one. And we're committed to that. And we've learned a lot through this process. And so I'm very excited to be able to share this information with you. So thank you once again. And lastly, I don't have a slide here, but I did send an email out, is that Saturday, March 12th, our esports team, which we have a team at both the high school and the middle school here at Pathfinder, have esports, and it's a great program to get our kids excited and involved in something they're passionate about. And we have a valuable resource to our community available this Saturday at our PCS bus garage, where you can come in and get rid of your old technology, get it recycled. I think a lot of us have old computers, printers, keyboards, a mouse, anything you may have, TVs. I've got a broken TV in my basement I'll be bringing up, and just help once again create a win-win, get it taken care of. It'll be recycled, but also then it'll generate funds for our esports program. So it's a great resource for our district, for our community. We've been putting it out there. Once again, that's taking place this Saturday at the bus garage here, right next to my office. So there's a lot of great things happening. And so I'm going to transition now to the part of the presentation, and this is just going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet, and obviously with the video you can stop and watch it at your leisure, and I'm going to be sharing about 4 different slides with information, so you can actually pause it and take a look at it as well. But at the board meeting, I did a presentation just doing an overview once again of our enrollment projections. And as I've shared before, we get a report from the state of Michigan. It's called Middle Cities, and every district gets this. And this is what we've been working with the Department of Treasury and the MDE in terms of being as responsible as we can and accurate with our enrollment projections. And this report takes a lot of things into consideration. One is the birth rate trends in our area, past trends, and just taking a look at kind of how things have been progressing for the past 5 years. They take a look at a 5-year trend, and then they try to predict the next 5 years. And nothing's perfect, obviously, but to be honest, it's actually very close. This year, the numbers were almost spot on to where we landed. And we've been hovering around 2,260 kids, give or take, throughout the course of the year. Obviously, it fluctuates. And so we feel really confident using it. And it also provides 3 models. They'll do a model 1, model 2, model 3, and they vary a little bit. Some are more conservative than others. And so, we want to be very, very conservative with our budgeting, and so that's the route that we've been asked to take by the Department of Treasury, and that's just, I think, the right move for us as well. So I just want to share both a couple things from that report, but also more district level information about our schools and enrollment. So just get a sense of where we're at, and some of the work that we have in front of us and decisions we have to make, and fits in with our 5-year strategic plan as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And the first one I just want to pop up is this table here. And this is just one of the many tables. This report's over 80 pages long. And so I didn't want to scroll through that. But as you see, this is just one of the many samples that they provide. And this, I have tables too that will give us the information for the past 5 years. This is really looking at next year and beyond, and per grade level that you can see. And then obviously and it groups it on the bottom there by how our grades are configured. And obviously we know that's going to change because we're going to be moving 6th grade to the middle school. So it'll be more of a 6, 7, 8. But the key that we look at is the total numbers here. So, and this is Model 1. So this is very conservative. Usually kind of the worst case scenario, you have Model 2 in the middle, and then you get Model 3. There's not a whole lot of variance between the three, to be honest with you. But so what we're looking at is, this is their projections that we use. And when we have to do reporting with the Department of Treasury and its state, we have to use these numbers. We don't come up with them ourselves. And as you can see, next year, they have it at 2157 is our total enrollment. And if you just heard me say, this year we're about 2260, 2250, when we're depending on the point of time that you're looking at it. And so they have it projected almost, a little less than 100 students less next year. And the reason being is, as you can see, the trends, we're averaging around, the 150, 160 per class that you see. But as you get to the high school, you start seeing it jump up to 172, then that 12th grade, that 216. So that is a pattern that we've been working with for over a decade. And as it works through a 13-year educational system, because you got kindergarten, or even add 14 years with Kinder Ready, that it takes time for things to continue to move through the district. And we are seeing it basically be consistent and level off in our K through 8 grades. There's not a whole lot of variance, as you can see. But then the high school is where we're kind of seeing the biggest differential there. And so that's what we got to work through. But as you see, going through 23, 24, the rate in which the loss is reduced, and you can even see that being extremely significant. And even if you go all the way out to 26, 27.5, it increases, which is, I'll show you a graph too that depicts that as well. So that's very encouraging. And so we're getting to a place, and that's part of our 5-year strategic plan, is to, we know our enrollment's going to pretty much level off. I said before, about 2,000, give or take 100, one way or another. Hopefully it's in the positive way. In this graph, it shows that at 2,057. And so that's what we just have to make sure that we are planning for. Obviously, once again, our revenue is dependent on a number of students. And right now, the state aid is $8,700 per student. So if you look just simply as a 100 student loss, multiply that times $8,700, you're at $870,000, which is a really large number that you have to contend with. You have to work for that. You have to try to budget. You have to try to be as efficient as you can. It's extremely challenging. It's not as cut and dry as it's black and white and just reduce the number of staff, because our staff are working with kids and with students, and we're trying to manage appropriate class sizes and trying to find that balance, and just like anybody else, dealing with the inflation cost. Our buses run on diesel fuel, and we all know that right now that's over $5 a gallon. And so those things impact us, and it's really hard to make adjustments just like in our own home budget. But nonetheless, we have to and try to make sure we're being responsible with our resources. We talk about our human resources, our structural resources, and our financial resources to really put us in the best position possible. So I did want to just bring up, because I think some people will look at this graph and you'll see like these kindergarten numbers are all in about the 180s. And then when you look at the first grade, they drop. And the reason being is, we do have an early fives program that's Kinder Ready, and Kinder Ready is considered kindergarten from the state of Michigan. So they get lumped into kindergarten numbers. And so, but when a Kinder Ready student, the next year they go into kindergarten, so they don't go into first grade. So that's why you're going to see that differential. It's not that these kiddos leave. It's just that probably about close to 35 students, 37, 38 students are in kindergarten. They will then go into kindergarten. So it's almost like 2 years of kindergarten is what the state looks at. So that's why those numbers are a little bit higher there. So these kiddos are not leaving. It's just some are going to be in kindergarten because they're in kindergarten. So just wanted to make sure it's clear, because I could see how people would say, well, why is, or are those numbers much lower in first grade from kindergarten? But that's the reason for that. So I'm going to switch to a new graph. So I'm going to put this one up here. And what you see here is at the end of the report, they give us some nice visuals. And this gives us all three models. The one that I just showed you is model 1. And so you can take a look at the different models and the trends that we're seeing K-12. And they'll break this down actually for us for K-3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 12. But just save a little bit of time, I'm just going to put this graph up here. And you can see this is where we're at right now, 21, 22. So we're right about there. And that's where they predict us to be. And that's right where we're about 2250. But you can see is regardless of the model, the trend stays the same. It's still decreasing. It doesn't matter if it's model 1, 2, or 3, and there are different points of graph. But at the same time, then you can see that the trend, however, is in all of them at different points of time that it does flatline and even starts increasing. And the rating increase varies depending on the model. Model 1 here is the least amount of increase, but it's increasing nonetheless. And then method 3, and then method 2 up here, you see a little greater increase coming that year 25, 26, 26, 27. So that's what we look at for trends. And so we still have to do a lot of work to take care of these couple years that we're heading into, but also knowing what lies ahead. Obviously, a lot can happen. The economy definitely impacts us. As you know, the recession of 2007 had a tremendous impact on all school districts, but really hit us hard in this area. So, that's always the worrisome part about this is there's a lot of unknowns and things outside of our control that can impact this. So let me go ahead and put more district level information on here. And I did this last year. I think this is helpful just to kind of see what we look at here. And this is just a spreadsheet that I created. And what I do is I've created this. These are class sizes for 21, 22. And I do put kindergarten up there. And then this is just simple attrition. It's moving kids forward. So if they're in first grade, I know how many we're going to have in second grade this year, how many we're going to have in third grade next year, with everything staying the same. So the only difference is kindergarten and kindergarten. Sometimes I have to guess because we really don't know. Kindergarten registration is occurring right now, started last month. So we just kind of keep those numbers the same. And so then looking at 22, 23, you can see then kind of the change just through attrition. And I think that's really the important piece here is that we can start seeing just moving kids forward per grade, some of the fluctuation that we have to do with. And that's how we start looking at classes and allocating staff and class sizes. And so there's not a whole lot of change. I mean, even though there's -18 here in first grade, we see that big group that we had there moves into second grade, and it kind of evens out. So there's really not a whole lot of change, to be honest with you, at that K-3 level. We have a little bit of a dip of just 18 kids this is just 4 or 5 now because I grouped it for what it's going to look like next year. And then 6, 7, and 8, you can see there's a little increase there of 14. But then once again, as I refer to the high school, you can see the impact. And so that's what we have to work with. High school is really tough too, because we have kids in all sorts of programs, from dual enrollment to CTE programs, early middle college programs. And then we do have students who unfortunately need a little more time. That graduating 4 years is not something that they were able to do. So they're working with us maybe for another semester or even for another year. And sometimes students do choose to leave for a variety of reasons depending on their life path. So but that's where we're at. So that's kind of what we're going to have to contend with and work through for the next couple of years until things kind of level out. And so what I've done then is I've created, using the middle cities models, model 1, model 2, and model 3 here, and just the numbers they give us to see the variance. And some things are pretty similar. I think model 1, it's a total of a -70, a change there. Actually, no, -42, I'm sorry. Here, going back to our change, it's 70 students is what we have. If you add all these up and put them together, it equates to negative 70 student loss, which is, if you multiply that time $6,700, you're about $630,000 around that ballpark. So that's something that we're working with here. These numbers, the good thing is they're not as extreme as what we're seeing here. I think this is negative 42, and then we have smaller numbers going for Model 2 and Model 3. But it just gives us a sense of what we're looking at and what we have to kind of plan for and adjust for. So this is the K-12, and I've got one more screen I'm going to pop up here really quick. And this breaks things down at more of a K-3. So for Country and Farley, just taking a look here, because obviously elementary classrooms look a little bit different. And so just taking a look at these classrooms here. I did the same thing. Gets 21, 22 numbers of where we're at per grade level, and then the 22, 23 per grade level, what we're looking at. And the key change is, like for Country Elementary now, we're looking at a net gain of 2 based on assumptions, and kindergarten can be assumptions based on enrollment, but that's what we're looking at. So not a whole lot of change, consistent, and that's okay. We're okay being consistent because it's easier to plan when things are consistent across the board. So looking at Farley, net 1, and so same thing. You can take a look at these numbers. There's not a whole lot of variance or change there, so we don't anticipate a whole lot of change. We just we have to go through our staffing allocations and assignments and things of that sort. So we have a couple of split classrooms. We have one at Country right now, a second, third grade split, which Mrs. Kink has been doing a great job. And we've got a kindergarten, first grade split at Farley, which has been going extremely well this year. So we got to take a look at those kind of options, because that helps us maximize our staff. And when we have to make some tough decisions regarding staffing and finances, that's one of the strategies we can use, is creating a split classroom. So, but these are the numbers. And so once again, not a whole lot of variance here at the K-3 levels. And so you guys can take a look at this longer, or if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to give me a call or send me an email. So that is really the quick rundown of enrollment. I spent a little more time with the board, obviously, at the meeting, but just being transparent. These are the numbers we work with. This is kind of what helps us do some forecasting, not only planning for next year, but the years beyond that, and just decisions that we have to make as a district as we look once again at a 5-year strategic plan. Next year, we're excited having 6th grade come over and join our Pathfinder family and really be a true 6, 7, 8 middle school. And I'm excited for the opportunities and just the new climate and culture that's going to be created at Pathfinder with the students and the staff that we're going to have it together. And at the same time, doing some really great work at Navigator with our 4th and 5th grade teachers next year. We're really trying to reshape and look at Navigator as what we call more of a traditional elementary school. There's been no question that it's been more of a hybrid of middle school and elementary, just given the adolescent development and where kids are at. And so just really taking a look at what that looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, and then probably taking a look at then what kind of changes are we going to make down the road to continue to build very strong educational program here in Pekin Community Schools that meets not only the needs of our students, our families, but also financially and just structurally, the financial structure of our district. So to continue doing the great things we want to do for our staff, our students, and our community. Thank you for investing a little bit of time. I know this is a little more lengthy video, but once again, this is just great information I want to share. Always pride ourselves in being transparent and letting you know kind of what's helping guide our decisions and our thinking and the work that we're involved in here. So hope everybody's doing well. Have a great weekend. And thank you once again for your support, for your engagement, and for just being part of our Pirate family. Go Pirates.